Aloha, everybody. I'm Mel Dorr, intuitive consultant, psychic medium, AKA the Aloha Shirt Psychic. I posted a video earlier on today thanking you for all of your support. And what I did is I tried to read all the names on my community board. And somebody posted in my comment section, Mel, too much, too much. You should have just thanked everyone. So my response was absolutely not. I wanted to read every name that had posted get well to me because it never hurts to show appreciation, kindness, and love for all of your support. And I thank you. The wonderful flowers you see in the background were sent to me from Linda Grindle and her sons to get well. And she also sent the most amazing chocolates. They came in today in the mail. Gary got to them before I did, but I'm trying to lose weight, but Linda, thanks for a few extra pounds. This is called Timothy Adams chocolates. And if you'd like to order them, you can do so at chocolates.com. Telephone number 415-775-8923. TimothyAdamsChocolates.com. I'll hold it up on the screen so you can see it. And these chocolates are absolutely amazing. Linda Grindle told me about them. And here's how they're decorated. You can see they're so good. So if you know anybody that's feeling under the weather or whatever, send them these wonderful chocolates. And I think you can see the information on the screen, I hope. There you go. I'll hold it closer. So Linda, thank you for that. Also, thanks to Kevin for your support. And thanks to Deb, Linda's sister, who, as I said earlier, sent me a text that said, absolutely no vacuuming. And I texted back, honey, vacuums and I just don't get along. When I married Gary, we made a pact, as I said earlier. He does the vacuum, the dusting, the laundry. I do the cooking, the grocery shopping, and I pay the cable bill and the light bill. Hello. And the mortgage. He pays everything else. So we coexist. So don't have to worry about me running no vacuum. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the January 6th hearings that were televised tonight. And boy, is my hair on fire. You know, I remembered back some of the things that Linda Grindle and I had talked about in our predictions. And if I'm looking to the side, it's because I'm looking at my notes, you all. And my Southern accent will come and go, so just don't pay attention to that. I'm going to premiere this tonight. It won't be live, but when you premiere it, you can type in the side and I'll answer. I'll try to keep it short and put your questions in the community board because I'll try to do, I will do frequent videos during these hearings. You know, I thought back when I started watching the hearings, my guides had shown me, and Linda Grindle said the same thing too, that the January 6th commission would show and prove that the insurrection would be traced and linked directly up to Trump. And it's quite obvious to me that my guides were right. Because after watching this tonight, as I said, it's obvious that this whole thing was planned. It just didn't happen. It wasn't a spontaneous riot. And who was that politician who said, oh, it was just a bunch of vacationers, like a bunch of vacationers in the Capitol? I rewatched that footage and some of that footage was never shown. And if that's vacationers going through the Capitol, I'd hate to see what a real riot looks like. It's obvious that that was an attempt to overthrow our government. And it's obvious that Trump and his cronies and some of the fascists involved had a plan to get rid of Mike Pence if Pence didn't do their bidding. And my guides also showed me that Mike Pence was warned and tipped off from somebody high up in the Trump administration not to let them take him out of the Capitol. They wanted to, and he said no. And the reason they wanted to take him out of the Capitol was because if they could get him far away somewhere like Alaska, which they wanted to do, then they could get him out of the way and try to send the electoral votes back to the states. If that didn't work, they wanted to kill him. So my guides are showing me that there was not only one plan, there were a couple plans in place in case one didn't work. They had planned something else to try to get Pence out of the way unless he did their bidding. Now, I am absolutely not a fan of Mike Pence, but it showed, and my guides had told me this before, and I'd even told you all months ago. This hearing showed that Donald Trump did not make any calls to the National Guard. He didn't make any calls during that attempted coup d'etat to anybody in government to stop it. Nothing. But Mike Pence was the one who made the calls to send in certain governmental people to stop the insurrection. I'll say again, Trump didn't call anyone or any department to give an order to stop the insurrection. Mike Pence did. Now, I don't like Mike Pence, but I suppose to a degree we could thank him for saving our democracy, because we came perilously, it's hard to say. We came very, very, very close to losing our democracy, and we're still not out of the woods. My guides are telling me we have to be diligent. We have to stand up and have our voices heard. Everybody out there, call your senator, even if they're Republican, call your people in the House, your representatives, even if they're Republican, and say, we will no longer tolerate the lies, the cover up, and certain members of the Republican Party absolutely not doing anything whatsoever about this insurrection. And we must also continue to call them to stop gun violence in this country and get some legislation passed to protect our children, our African-American people, our LGBTQ people, all of us, from being shot with an assault weapon. It's just not acceptable any longer. McCarthy, he's another one. He spoke up against the insurrection, but now he defends Trump. McCarthy, who, if the Republicans win the House, he'll be the Speaker. That's frightening. I see that this committee is going to investigate him, not for what happened on January the 6th, but the cover-up afterwards, and how he colluded with Trump to divert, deceive, and redirect the events that happened on January the 6th. I don't like Bill Barr. I still see him under investigation, but he did cooperate. And he told Trump that Trump's claims that the election was stolen, that it was rigged, blah, 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 were not factual. There was no evidence to support that at all. Trump knew that, but yet he continued to push his big lie that the election was rigged, that he won. If any election was rigged, it was the one in 2016 when Trump and his cronies colluded with Russia, with Putin, to put Trump in power. And that's going to come out too, folks. My guides show me that. This is the beginning of the end of Donald Trump. Thank God. I watched General Milley, I think, his testimony. I don't know how to pronounce his name. When Pence made the decisions to call in, I think, the National Guard, the Capitol Police, to have this stopped, Meadows told Milley, to make it look like that it was Trump making the decisions and not Pence. Wow. How's that for a cover-up, you all? That's all going to come out. And I remember saying, Linda Grindle and I talked about this, that they showed me the DOJ. They showed me the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, kind of behind closed doors going like this. My guide showed me that the DOJ was investigating the January 6th insurrection, actually coup d'etat, riot. Those people declared war on our country. And Trump was the ringleader. But anyway, my guide showed me that, you know, behind closed doors, our Attorney General was, and Liz Cheney confirmed tonight that a lot of this had been sent over to the DOJ and they are investigating. I'm sure for Merrick Garland, it's got to be overwhelming. It's like, where do we start? You know, they're just not going to throw sand on the wall. I was going to say something else, but I don't want to go to YouTube jail. They're just not going to throw sand on the wall to see what sticks. They are really doing active investigations. And this is going to be traced all the way up to Cheeto Head. Oh, boy, it gets better, doesn't it? Jared Kushner, when they interviewed him or questioned him, the committee, you know, a lot of people resigned from Trump's cabinet after this insurrection and before, because I think they knew. And Jared Kushner said he just attributed it to people whining, people that just were whining, so they resigned. I think Jared Kushner knew what was going on too, and that's going to be shown as well. Sean Hannity, we'll see how that plays out. These people, these politicians who are trying to whitewash this whole January 6th thing, shove it under the rug, look the other way, because they want to stay in power. As Liz Cheney said, they took an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and they are breaking that oath. And I say we need to vote them out. I don't care if we vote Republican or Democrat, but let's get responsible leaders. Let's get people who care about the American people. And my guides show me that will happen. You know, when I was on Kevin's show and he was on mine, I said, you know, Kevin, my guides are showing me it's like turning on the light in the middle of the night and all the cockroaches run and hide. Well, that's exactly what's going on now. But guess what? The cockroaches can't hide anymore. I am so glad that this committee is being televised. Now, you know, people like Trump and a lot of the repubes of Trumplicans are going to say, oh, it's a witch hunt. It's fake news. It didn't happen. Excuse me. How could anybody, unless they've had a lobotomy, say that that war, that insurrection, that attempted coup didn't take place? Here again, they'll prove it was planned, and they'll prove it had numerous plans, and there's going to be people high up that are going to go to jail. And many will. And they should. Boy. Let me keep going, shall I? All right, I'm just turning the page here, you all. It's like the church organist, you know, got to hit the page turner. I don't have a page turner. You know, my father fought in World War II. My mother's brother, my uncle, fought in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. Read about that, it's really cool. There was a movie about it, but it was inaccurate. My one uncle was in the Seabees. I think that was the Navy. My dad's brother was in the Navy. My dad's other brother had polio, so he couldn't go in the service. They fought so that we didn't have tyranny or authoritarianism in this country. They fought against fascism. They fought against racism, because that's what Hitler was all about. Fascism, racism, tyranny. And look what's going on today. in the Republican Party, the Trumplican wing of it, not all Republicans, but the Trumplican part of it. They're supporting an authoritarian dictator who will stop at nothing to gain control, who supports fascists, and says when people are marching, chanting death to Jews, Donald Trump had the gall to say, oh, there were some nice people there too. Excuse me, nice people don't chant things like that. He is an affront to the dignity, the Trumplincans are an affront to the dignity of my father, of my uncles, of the people who fought in our military. I had one uncle who fought in Korea, actually two. My stepdad fought in World War II. He got a Bronze Star for valor. He fought in Korea. These people are an affront to the dignity of those people that fought to preserve our democracy. I think we all need to write letters. We all need to keep calling your representatives off, especially if they're Republicans or Trumplicans. Call, and tell them you demand that they look into this January 6th thing and stop pretending it didn't happen. Because you know what? They're on the wrong side of history. And karma is a biatch, you all. It's a bitch. And they will get their karma. My guides assure me of that. Who was that politician to say, oh, it was a bunch of tourists visiting, it's nothing more than that? Well, if that was a tourist visit, that was a war. It was a group of insurrectionists. If that was a tourist visit, as I said earlier, I'd hate to see I'd hate to see an insurrection. Wow. Donald Trump perpetuated the big lie that he himself made up about the election. He perpetuated and helped plan this insurrection. And if he says he didn't, it's a crock of BS. He did nothing. Trump said they were peaceful people. What? Some of these same people who talk about how they support police officers were the ones that were killing police officers at the Capitol Police. They were injuring them. One police officer talked about how there was blood everywhere and how she was sliding in the blood of other police officers. And Donald Trump said they were peaceful people. Who is he kidding? If that's peaceful, then I'm a rocket scientist. And I ain't a rocket scientist. Found out tonight that for a while the 25th Amendment was invoked. You know, like if the president's a whack job, get rid of him. But why didn't they act on it? Because my guides tell me they did not want to lose power. You know, Steve Bannon. He's the one that helped with this plan. And guess what? My guides had shown me that Steve Bannon was not out of hot water, that he was going to end up in jail, and he will. I could see him with his orange sliders. Giuliani meeting with Trump when all this happened. No lawyers there. Giuliani, I see indictment, but I think they're trying to get him to do more behind closed doors. And I think the DOJ is talking to him already. So again, this whole thing was planned. People said, oh, it was just a march. It got out of control. It did not get out of control. It was planned. Now, Linda Grindle had said something a while ago that Ivanka would flip on her father. And I kind of felt it too, but Linda was adamant about it. And she was absolutely right on the money. Ivanka said that she believed William Barr when William Barr told Trump that everything that Trump was telling the public about the election being stolen was BS. So it looks like the prediction was right that she has and will flip on her father. Uh, the reason Trump didn't call anybody on that day, because it was his plan. You know, he didn't even try to stop the insurrection. Mike Pence did. Bannon was complicit. Trump was complicit. And I think it's going to be shown that Clarence Thomas's wife was complicit in this too. My guides show me that as well. Of course, he won't recuse himself if it goes to the Supreme Court. We'll see. You know, all hell broke loose that day. And again, it was planned to keep Pence from doing his job, to certify the election results. I think, hold on just one second. Trump knew about it, because when he was making that speech, I call on Mike Pence to do the right thing. He should do the right thing and send the elector back to the state so they can decide. Trump supported it. He knew about it beforehand. Trump even supported the violence. He knew about that too. As I said earlier, Pence did save our democracy. I don't like him. Please don't send a lot of comments about that I'm supporting Mike Pence. I don't support him. I don't like his politics. But Pence did the right thing that day. I'm glad he refused to go away with him. It was pretty obvious that the Proud Boys were behind a lot of this. And my guide showed me that before, and it was them that instigated the first breach. I'm saying, oh, you all, because I'm looking at my notes. In one speech, I think it was during the debates, when Trump told the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by if he lost. That was his statement. His statement. And he was already planning it then. The commission said it was the Proud Boys that breached the peace circle in the Capitol. The Oath Keepers, they were going to try to stop the peaceful transfer of power. So these two groups, along with Trump et al. And others, worked together to plan this and to bring it to fruition. And that'll come out. It showed that I think the Oath Keepers, they had a staging area outside of DC where they had guns. Hey, now we should need gun control. Hello. And they provided arms to the insurrectionists. They were looking for Nancy Pelosi. They wanted to kill her. They wanted to kill Mike Pence. You can't tell me that wasn't planned. And they did a walk around the perimeter of the Capitol the day before, because what they were doing was scoping it out to see where the weaknesses were. And my guides tell me that somebody from higher up at orders from Donald Trump didn't put a huge Capitol police force out that day because they knew what was coming. Trump knew what was coming. So a lot of the higher ups in those organizations are going to be, they should be charged with treason or sedition, and they will be, for conspiracy to overturn the United States government, both the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. I just saw that they walked around the Capitol. Okay, let me keep going. As I said, my guides show me that a lot of this had been already handed over to the DOJ from the committee for investigation and indictments. Liz Cheney, she said it was a full-on attack on the US Capitol by the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. And my guys show me that Trump knew about it and behind the scenes ordered it through channels. As the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers were marching, they were chanting "F you Antifa," because part of the plan, my guides tell me, was to make it, they could say, oh, it was Antifa doing this. And remember that came out after the riot, that some of the repubes said, oh, it was Antifa doing it. Wrong. Antifa was not there that day. This was the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, and my guides had shown me before that the truth would come out, and you all, it's coming out. You know, there's an old saying that a lie will get around the world 1.5 times while truth is still lacing its bootlaces, tying its bootlaces. But it's coming out now. And it's going to continue to come out. And what was it Donald Trump said about the insurrection? It's one of the best things that ever happened in America, la, 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 or whatever it was. I'm probably misquoting him. Best things. That group, him, his cronies, that group declared war on the United States of America. Linda Grindle said a long time ago before this insurrection, it was like 2 summers ago. Oh, I think it was 2 summers ago in 2020, that she had a vision that Trump was charged with treason. And at the time I thought, okay, but boy, was she ever right. So, now the Republicans are going to say, the Trump leaders are going to say, this is done right before the midterms to make us look bad, blah, 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 blah. Wrong. It's not being done for that. But I do think that this might help energize people to get out and vote. And don't be afraid that your vote won't count. I'm sure there'll be cheating, but my guides tell the Greg Abbotts, the Ted Cruz's, the Billy Goat, as I call him, the Rand Pauls, the Trumplicans, the McCarthys, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Matt Gaetz, all of those senators who go along with this big lie and promote this big lie, they will be called to task for this. And at some point, they will be gone on the wrong side of things. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to premiere this live. I won't be on live, but I'll premiere it live so y'all can see it. I'm keeping it short today. Linda and I will do a show next Monday and the following Monday. Kevin and I will do a show on Sunday. So post your questions. Again, I appreciate your support, and get these chocolates, you all. Oh my God. I got to lose weight. I can't get in some of my shirts anymore. My Aloha shirts are getting too tight, but I can't go on a diet until I finish these great chocolates. All right. You all stay well. And till our next show, namaste.